Alright, so I've been wanting to do this video for a while, so here we go. Ranking all the countries I've been to. This might be episode 1 of the series since I'm still trying to explore more countries. So sometime in the future I might do one of these videos again. So yeah, before we start, I just want to point out that this ranking is based on my personal experience in terms of how I enjoyed visiting or living in that country. So it's highly subjective, but I'll keep it as critical as possible because it just doesn't sound fair. Like for a country, like by coincidence, if I had a bad day in that country and that's the only day I stayed in that country, if I rank that country like a low tier, it just doesn't sound fair for the country. So yeah, I'll keep it critical while being, kind of selfishly subjective on this. So first on the list we have the big boy, the US of A. Oh my god, I have such a roller coaster emotion towards this country. First time I went to this country was summer 2012, and it was a blast. I fell in love with this country already, like right at the beginning. The culture, the people, the scenery, the lifestyle mainly. Like I really enjoy the lifestyle. I'm probably one of the few Asians or Asian Chinese who can get adapt to this Western lifestyle this fast. I feel like this is where I belong, like people's mindset and the food. Like I really like the food of America, as weird as it sounds. And then I went there in college and I lived there for 6 years, like mainly for study and a little bit working. I gotta say, like this country is kind of controversial. I can certainly feel some of the toxicity of freedom in it. Of course, this is the freest country in the world, and you can think however you like. You have the freedom of speech. You can have your personality, etc. But it's just so all over the place. Like I don't know, like I can start talking about this country for hours. It just doesn't feel. I feel like my passion to this country is not as big as I was in 2012. It's a very decent country to spend on vacation, I would say, but living there, I don't know about it anymore. I'll be honest. If it's 2012 me, I'll definitely put it in S, but I think it's A. I think it's a low A. A for America. It sounds just right. I mean, it still has a very heroic history and culture, and some of the scenery and nature was spectacular. And I don't know, it just has a lot of things. Like the East Coast is very different than the West Coast, and every state sort of has their own thing, their own like a uniqueness. If I see the world as a TV show, I think USA is the main character for sure. I don't know, it's a big boy of the crew. It's A tier. Let's move on. Thailand. Ooh, I went to Thailand twice, and I'm not gonna lie, both of them was fantastically enjoyable. I don't know, the location of this country just makes it so perfect to spend your holiday with your family, and it's extremely cheap. It has a rich culture, and the people are nice. The tourist industry is the biggest industry in this country, so like people just like by default like really welcoming like foreigners to come to their country. And of course, like I came across some scammers during my trip. That also includes the lady boy. I mean, it's part of their culture. So I don't complain about it. It's just very interesting, and I think nowadays like people are more open to LGBTQ and trans rights stuff. I think it's really good for this country to maintain part of those culture. I think I'm blank. I don't know if I want to put in S because like it's a great place to visit, but I don't know about living there. It's just it basically has one season all year. It's just very hot and like I'm a summer boy. I love beaches. I love hot weather. I love tropical places. But at the same time, I feel like I want to do something more than just that. Yeah, you know what? It's a S tier. I think Thailand is a solid S minus tier. I would say. Like every time when you don't know where to go for your vacation, where to meet other travelers, if you're solo traveling, just go to Thailand. Thailand is a easy stage one difficulty for solo traveler. I would say it's cheap and people tend to meet other travelers in the hostel and some other places you can have like meetings and parties, and it's a great place to connect and to network as well. And the food is great. Like Thai curry is the best curry in the world, in my opinion. Russia, oh my god, poor Russia, dude. I mean, to be fair, I only been to Moscow, so my ranking is only based on Moscow. I would say that was pretty interestingly tough trip because I know Russia is a communist country and the vibe I was getting over there in Moscow was basically based on that. I went there with my parents and the language barrier was one of the challenges we came across over there. And a lot of locals we've been asking for help was kind of rough, I would say. Like the staff at the airport, I don't think they had any interest in helping us since we didn't speak very good English. Like we didn't speak Russian at all. Like they were like, you coming to Russia and speaking Russian should be your responsibility or something. This might be just unlucky for us, but at the borderline, the people at the border check also isolate my mother for like 20 minutes, and they were not talking to us. Like, they were not explaining what is going on. We thought there was a problem, but at the end, everything was fine. It was a weird experience. But looking at the hindsight, we went to Red Square City Center and also some museums. It was gorgeous. Red Square was probably my top 10 most gorgeous places I've been to. And some locals who's open to tourists on the street, and they were doing some arts, pencil sketches and stuff. It was a really great experience. Overall, I'm not gonna lie, I think Russia is a C tier, and also it's a sort of controversial country nowadays. Right now it's 2025. Russia's still not doing too hot, but I don't complain the people or the culture. People are fine. I mean, this is just the environment they're living at, and there's nothing we can do about it. However, even though this is only a C tier country for me for now, it has a very big potential that I'm gonna get a better experience next time. So bad experience doesn't push me away, like generally, it just helps me go through the dark side of the region so that I can be more mentally prepared about this country next time, so that I'll potentially have a better experience. Alright, next one we have Spain. I'm not gonna lie, that was my first time going to Europe. It was summer 2014, and Spain was magnificent. Like going to Spain was really sudden to me. Like my mom just told us, like out of nowhere, we're going to Spain for a trip. So let's fucking go. And I didn't know anything about this country rather than I think they're good at soccer, the football, I think. And this might be one of our greatest challenges ever because they speak Spanish. We didn't know we had zero knowledge about Spanish. But this country surprised me a lot. Of course, we had challenges, like we getting lost, we didn't know like the language, etc. We had a hard time communicating with people. But those challenges stuck in my memory so hard, like it's just so unforgettable and just so impressive. I went to Madrid and southern Spain, like the Malaga, Sevilla, Granada, like those areas. I prefer the south. We went to so many churches and castles, and they were beautiful. Like the vibe was amazing, and the people in Spain were so nice. And I think the majority of the strangers we met on the street or in the hallway of our hotel, they say hola to us like every single time. It just feels like you go to someone's house and you don't really know anybody, but everyone just treat you as a family member. It's just the feeling I was getting. The food was nice, the weather was decent, it feels pretty tropical. It fits my lifestyle as well. With that being said, I think Spain is a high S tier. I think this might be the best country I've been to, and I don't mind going there again, but I'm just afraid I'll probably have a worse experience than, because my trip to Spain in 2014 was so perfect. I think it's one of the most popular countries to visit in Europe at the moment. So I think compared to 2014, I might see way more tourists over there. So I'm just glad we went on that trip, honestly. All right, the next one is Portugal. I went there in the middle of my trip to Spain because those two countries just neighbor countries, like they stick together like brothers. Honestly, they feel pretty similar to me. I've only been to Lisbon and the coastal area where I saw the Atlantic Ocean for the first time. By judging Lisbon on its own, I think Lisbon is enough to put this country to S tier. I mean, once again, like it's very, very similar to Spain. I know the language is different, but culture-wise, okay, this might be a hot take. I think the Portuguese architecture might be a little better than Spain. Like the architecture in general, like those like normal usual houses, like people staying, like those white walls, kind of giving me some Greek vibe. I think those look very, very beautiful. They also have some like very uniqueness, like the egg tart in Lisbon was pretty delicious. I think putting these two countries neck and neck sounds about just right. I think Portugal is a S tier. I would definitely go there again to explore the rural area rather than just Lisbon. But Lisbon is enough. I think it's a brilliant city. All right, Japan. I think this is the third country I have lived in my life. I've been to Tokyo, and then I went north all the way to Hokkaido. I think generally Japan is not a bad country. I think it's just very unique when it comes to media, entertainment, and also the culture. I don't think there's any other country in this world that has this similarity to Japanese culture. People usually go there for anime, video games, like those like entertainment stuff, and that's my reason as well. I was also really into their lifestyle, but after living in Tokyo for about 4 months, I gotta say, there's definitely some stubbornness and some depression I could feel in the Japanese society. Once you live there, like your life will be, I don't know, like very, very structured and overwhelmingly organized. It will turn you into a very, very disciplined person, because there are a lot of traditions you have to follow, like you have to bow for people for being grateful, and you have to say some certain phrases while doing things, like before the meal you say itadakimasu. I mean, it's not necessary, but like it's just part of the traditions like people do over time, and some of them is is kind of mandatory to do, and even though you feel like this is unnecessary to do, like because there's just so many of those unnecessary rules and traditions, and like it's very easy for people working in Japanese society to get um, overwhelming because they overworked a lot. So I don't know if starting a life in Japan is one of the best ideas. And also, natural disaster is one of the things that you need to look into because they got earthquakes like literally every month. And if you haven't followed up the news, I think Mount Fuji is not being so chill right now. So there's certainly some environmental risk of living there. I'll say this: going to Japan for a vacation is one of the best ideas because you'll feel one of the best hospitality from a country you ever have in your life, and that's not even close. So I think Japan is A tier. I think it's above US. I think yeah, I think I enjoy Japan a little bit more than US. All right, Canada. This is where I'm at right now. I think Canada. Hmm. I think Canada is a solid A. And yes, I think Canada is slightly better than the US. Okay, hear me out. First and foremost, Canada is one of the most peaceful countries in the world. I think it's within the top 10. You don't need to worry about hate crime as much as in the US, and people don't have guns. That's the big part. Usually people I've met in Canada, they're super friendly, and I don't know, it's very very easy for me to understand them. Like this is one of the phenomenons I've discovered. Like Canadians tend to use some of the very simple phrase and wording to express themselves, so that like the communication is like really really easy. And I know like Canada, like looking at this history, like it's built up by immigrations, and it's one of the countries that extremely welcoming the foreign immigrants. And because of that fact, I think it makes sense why people living in Canada, they are more like they respect each other a lot more in this super diverse society. And Canada has one of the most beautiful natures, I would say, in this entire world. And of course, it's cold. It doesn't have tropical places, so it might suck for me personally, but honestly, I didn't feel that much coldness in the winter. I've survived one winter here already, so yeah. And the vibe is super clean and neat, and like also the people thanking the bus driver before getting off the bus was it warms my heart also. Like I've never seen this type of phenomenon in the US at all. I once heard this saying that if you want to be successful, go to the US, and if you want a babysitter, stay in Canada. That is a very very deep saying, and it makes sense in any way. But this time I'm choosing a babysitter. I don't even care. Like I think nowadays being alive is just success for me in a way. All right, Saudi Arabia. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ugh. You're gonna hate me on this one. Okay. I went there 2 years ago. Yeah, around 2 years ago. I went there for work, and I'm not gonna lie. That was one of my toughest trip ever. I know this is a business trip, even though I had a pretty tough time for that job, but I don't think it's fair to judge this country by my tough work experience. But outside of my work, I still don't enjoy being there. Before that, I had no passion in Middle Eastern country like whatsoever, because like every news I heard about those areas is just wars and people bombing everything. It's just very, very sketchy and controversial. I don't think Saudi Arabia is one of them. I think Saudi Arabia is like very, very peaceful and has a rich culture. It maintains its land like very, very seamlessly. But I don't know, the vibe I was getting over there is just not not very pleasant. First of all, the weather. I love tropical area, but this desert area where it legitimately, unironically felt like microwave heat. Every time you step outside of your room, your hotel, it's just too much. The heat was just too much. I mean, the city I went to is Jeddah. Sometimes I went out and took a walk around my place, and honestly, I didn't feel that safe. I mean, looking at the stats, it's not that big of a deal. Like, it's not a dangerous city, but I might be fooling myself. But like the vibe I was getting over there is just like how the people dress up and looking at me weirdly. It's just, I don't know. They might be curious about me being a foreigner, like as a strange, different person, but I don't know. It wasn't that pleasant. Of course, this is a religious country. Religion is a big part of Saudi Arabia, and I respect that. I want to check it out. I'm curious. The big spinning box in Mecca. I wanted to check out, but legally, I'm just not allowed to go there. Like, as a foreigner, as a non-religious person. Of course, like every country has its own like regulation, policy, procedure towards like foreign travelers. If they're really, really different than the people in this country, there might be have some restrictions. But when we look at this in general, it's just hard for us to connect to each other. It's the space for us to explore is just so limited. I mean, it's just a sad fact. I don't want to complain about this. It's just I want to check out the Red Sea. The Red Sea is actually not that bad. I'll give you that. Honestly, I don't think Saudi Arabia is a bad country. I don't know, I just love the places that are so different than any other places. The language is so fancy. It's just the showcase is not doing too well for me when I was there. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think any of these countries deserves an F tier. So I'm gonna do this. Okay, I'm drawing the bottom line. Okay, Saudi Arabia, it's not F tier. It's just I'm drawing a line at the bottom among these countries, like on this tier list. It's at the bottom, but it's not F tier country for me. I definitely want to go to that country again. I think it has the potential to give me a way better experience for my visit. All right, China, my beloved home country. I don't want to be patriotic, but I don't want to be anti-patriotic. If I look at everything I've experienced in my first 18 years of living in China, I say it's pretty mid. I think spending my whole childhood over there was pretty bittersweet. I mean, it can be better, but at the same time, I feel like it's good enough. I feel like this country doesn't provide me any sort of surprises. I mean, it's a communist country. Of course, we had a lot of like limitations. We have to sacrifice ourselves for the common goods, because we have so many people. There's literally no space for us to be self-centered and focusing on our own journey. Like, we have to think for other people. That's the thing I don't like. Yeah, the overpopulation is just the thing like that kept me away from this country. I don't know, cause like I grew up in Suzhou. Suzhou is actually a really, really decent country to live. It's like the little city close to Shanghai, but it's still a massive city, like millions of people living there. I mean, regardless of how many people love Chinese culture, Chinese food, I don't think there will be that many people like from outside of China commit to start a life in this country. I'm not gonna lie, it's just very, very different from the outside world. Of course, they have their own stuff, they have their own ways of doing things, they have their own journeys of development. The technology is massive. I'm impressed like how much they developed. Like, but I don't know. Like based on my experience, I just yeah, no. I'll put it in C tier. C for China, you know. I don't know. Yeah, the culture, the food, the tradition, like they're good, but they're not like fascinating anymore. Like I want to see more. This country just doesn't have the resource or space for us to explore more of the outside world. Like I have to physically go out and to meet people, to network, and I don't know. It's like you living in a cage with the door opened and you're being fed pretty well. The government actually treating you with kindness, but those kindness was sometimes so questionable because they have no transparency and everything just up to them. It's just, I don't know, it's madness. Yeah, I think for now, China, Russia, they belong together. Look at you guys holding hands down there. All right, we're officially coming to the Eastern Europe. That was the trip from last year. I think that's one of my best trips ever. First on the list, we have Bulgaria. I think Bulgaria is a solid A tier. Okay, when we talk about Bulgaria, people might not have anything to discuss about this country because it's such a unpopular country to talk about or to visit or to live, like to do anything, you know. People say it's a poor country, and yeah, it's pretty cheap. It's actually very, very tourist friendly when it comes to finance and spending money. Don't know exactly what issue this country is having, but my time I was spending over there in Sofia was amazing. People were really friendly. Some of them were very, very curious about Asian cultures and stuff. I think it's a very standard country. If you want to go to Europe but you have a limited amount of finance, I think Bulgaria is your top choice. Yeah, I would rather live there than in the United States, honestly. I don't know, I just personally enjoy places with low population. I don't want to go to those attractions that like every day has so many tourists surrounding the area, you know, like it's just not enjoyable. You go there to check out the place, but you every time you ending up having interaction with some other people. It's just not very enjoyable to me personally, and that's why I love about Bulgaria, because like I think Sofia is the most popular place in Bulgaria, and even for that place, the capital city of that country, it doesn't have that many people or that many tourists, and you have much more like a physical space to explore around and see the stuff you want to see. You can have a deeper connection with the place, like you're having a private chat with the place you want to go. It just feels amazing. All right, Austria. I might start a war here. I don't know. I think Austria is mid. Okay, I've only been to Vienna, so my ranking is basically ranking Vienna. And yeah, I think Vienna is kind of mid, mainly because of the population of the city. It's also because of my high expectation, I would say, because before I go to this country, I heard that Vienna is the city of music, and like over there you'll feel the peace, the tranquility of the music. And unfortunately, like when I was there, all I heard was the crowd noise and traffic sounds. And I mean, the architecture I saw over there was gorgeous. Like Vienna probably has one of the best architectures in the world. I don't know, it just doesn't fit with that many people. Like for this architecture, like the vibe just feels kind of weird. I feel like I'm so evil, like complaining about this because I'm one of the crowd as well. Like I'm one of the visitors too. But it's but that's the thing that makes the experience just feels not that brilliant. I mean, it's totally reasonable that the how beautifully this city was built and having this many tourists, it actually makes sense. I also went to some places that's a little bit far from the city center, and those areas were nice, honestly. This is the ranking for Vienna, not necessarily for Austria itself, because I heard the Alps and the rural area of the Alps were spectacular, and I'm very very eager to check that out. And I think Austria, this might be the lowest rank. I think B plus is the lowest rank for me for Austria. So I think for now it stays there, but in the future when I check out Alps, we'll see about that. All right, next we have Czech Republic. You know what? I'm actually surprised how this country has brought me so many good stuff. I think Czechia is a S minus tier. Okay, I've only been to Prague, so this is only for Prague. I think Prague is a S tier city for me. I know, like when I was there, I feel the city is like pretty peaceful. Like even for the old town, the old city and the city center, um, I didn't see as many tourists as I was in Vienna. At the same time, I think Czech Republic has one of the best food market in Europe. First of all, their food is super cheap, and especially their beer. I think €1 or like $1 for a this big cup of beer. I think that's possible to get that in Prague, and I'm not even kidding. But unfortunately, I'm allergic to alcohol, so I didn't get any beer over there. But I did try vodka in a hotel, and that was quite an experience for me. But yeah, like I had so many meals over there that were pretty amazing. The castle was pretty stunning on the hill, and the old town, the architecture, and also the Charles Bridge was pretty beautiful. Like even though Charles Bridge has a lot of people like crossing by, literally like every hour. I don't know why it's just so famous. I think that's the connection to the other part of the city. That's why like a lot of people just walking back and forth. Overall, like I think this city has gave me so much space to explore, and I just feel very safe and happy by just being there. Honestly, like I don't mind living in Prague. I'll be honest. Like even though I just went there for only like 2 days or so. The only downside I will say is the locals. They don't usually smell to you. Like they're not as welcoming as some other countries. But it's not their fault. I mean, like it's them being who they are. Like it's there's nothing we can do. Sometimes language barrier is also one of the difficulties. Like some locals having a hard time to speak or understand English. Same with Bulgaria actually. So yeah, I think Prague is one of my favorite cities. Yeah, probably in the world. All right, Germany. This might be controversial, but I think Germany is mid. I think Germany is mid. Okay, so I went to Berlin, and I think one of the province is called Saxony, and I went to this little town called Görlitz. I think that's the town at the border between Germany and Poland. Honestly, I enjoy the rural town a lot. Like I have so much like time and space to explore the surrounding areas in Saxony. I was basically by myself, like literally no visitor in those areas. But at the same time, I had a blast exploring on my own. Like the vibe I'm getting, like those villages and towns, is just so beautiful, and so I'm getting those like tranquility of life. I don't know how to describe it. It's just like bring you so much joy and peace. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a big fan of Berlin. Okay, to be fair, I didn't actually go to those like top attractions in Berlin. I was actually spending some time on my own in one part of center city area. But still, I saw a lot of people like standing on the street. There was a lot of traffic, and I don't know. I sort of feel that area being a little bit sketchy, because like there's just a lot of people standing on the street like without doing anything. They're just like looking around, like pretty weird. I don't know if they're locals. I don't know if they're. Yeah, I didn't feel very safe, like even like walking on the street. I did try the burger though. I think the burgers were amazing. I think Germany is known for its burgers and food. I will definitely go there again. I want to check out the northern Germany and also the eastern Germany. I think they're pretty different. I don't know. I just love the German town so much. I don't know about the big cities. I'll be honest. Like, if I go to Germany, I'll pick the smaller cities or towns or rural areas. Yeah, that's just for me. Yeah. All right, Poland. This might be a tough one. I think Poland's an A. I think Poland's a solid A. Okay, here's why. I think I went to basically all the big cities, like the Wrocław, Krakow, Warsaw, Gdansk, and then Poznan. These are the 5 major cities like I've been to, like and also some rural areas as well. I mean, they're pretty standard. I really like the architecture in Wrocław. Warsaw was pretty modern. It's old town. Like I think like every major city has its old town, and averagely they're pretty decent. The local people were pretty nice. Except for one time I was get yelled at by the one of the staffs on the train, but I think I probably made a unconscious mistake. I don't know. Yeah, the food is amazing in Poland. The potato, I think, especially, they're great. It's not too expensive. I actually met a lot of wild people in Poland, like in terms of their lifestyle. Like I'm not saying they're crazy. They just they have a lot of talents. I met a lot of talented people, and their lifestyle doesn't feel super disciplined, but not in a bad way, which is very interesting to me. I'm actually fascinated by their lifestyle. And also, Poland has a coastline in the north, so like if you want to check out the beach, you can go north. It definitely has the lack of the tropical vibe, since it's a little bit far away from the equator. Maybe that's why it's not an S tier for me. But like, I don't know, Poland has some potential to be a very, very perfect country to me. If I go there again, I'll probably go to like maybe the smaller cities as well. And of course, I think Poland is better than the US. Or maybe Bulgaria. I don't know about Japan. You know what? I think Poland is the best country in the A tier. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna put. Alright, last but not least, Lithuania. Lithuania is a tough one as well. My experience over there is pretty similar to Poland. I'm not gonna lie, but like it's a smaller country, but I had such a fun time over there. Surprisingly, yeah, I think it's right below Canada, right between Canada and Japan. Yeah, that feels about right. I don't know. I feel like I have some bias for the Eastern Europe. I just love the vibe of the Eastern Europe, like less tourists, and at the same time, it's like gorgeous. Um, when we look at the scenery, the landscape, the cityscape, and the architecture, and Lithuania is one of them. Like it's not a popular country to visit. Like but like me being there, it just feels so comfortable. Like as the locals don't usually see the foreigners like coming by, they have those like a genuine curiosity to connect with you. You feel being welcomed, like you feel you are the special one, and like that kind of feeling. Like I never I've never got that in my life. That's why like this country like surprised me so much. But you know what? I think Lithuania is above Canada. I think I enjoy being in Lithuania than being in Canada. Yeah, even though it doesn't have a lot for me to see, but I love this country. I love the people. I love the landscape. I love the nature. It's pretty flat country. It doesn't have a lot of mountains, but I'm not a mountain person, so I don't really give a damn. All right, I just want to double check if there's anything I want to change. I think Poland has the potential to be S tier. I think, yeah, I'm gonna move Poland to be the worst of the S tier, and the Lithuania being the best of the A tier. I think, yeah, that kind of makes sense to me. So yeah, guys, that's my first official tier list of all the countries I've been to so far. I'm definitely planning to do this more when I go to more countries in the future. I might also do a city tier list of all the cities I've visited or I've lived in. But that might take a while to make a video. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of it, and also let me know what country do you want me to visit, based on my personality. Subscribe if you want. It's totally up to you. I'm just a casual YouTuber. All right, I'll see you guys later.